Welcome to the Other 98% podcast, a podcast series to shine a light on the arm wrestling community as a whole. From the new pullers to the pros and veterans, everyone is, will be, or has been a part of the Other 98% at some point in their arm wrestling career. No matter where you are in your journey, join the Other 98% community. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more. Welcome to the Other 98% podcast. I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh Vinacore and Jacob Belleville,
there you go.
And tonight we have a special guest, a very special guest, who has been in the game a lot longer than we have. Artem Taranenko. Thank you for coming on tonight, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask you a little bit about yourself. How old are you?
It's a sensitive subject because my birthday's coming up. I'm about to be 26, but I'm 25, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. And how long have you been arm wrestling for your 25 years?
Since about 2012, 2013. So it makes it about, 8-9 years.
Man, you're old, dude.
Fuck, I was thinking 6 and 7. I'm like, okay, I have to recount it because 8 and 9 sounds like, you should have been better by that time, dog.
I've been arm wrestling 17 years. And I still suck, so it's okay.
That's gonna be my answer. That's gonna be my answer in 10 more years. Yeah. I've been at 19 years.
Yeah. It's getting worse as I get older.
Yeah.
What's your height and what current class are you looking to compete in?
Well, I'm at 6 foot. I'm 6'2" and good like Air Maxes or some shit. I'm right now seeking like 202 pounds. So, and I don't really care. Like I don't want to cut too much. Like the last time I cut was for Mississippi State because the weight class like 190, and I feel like, you know what? I've been training. I can cut, and the weight class. So I'm kind of like to adjust myself just a little bit. I don't think I want to like cut weight or like super crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
because I was gonna say last time I saw you was at Carolina Carnage, like in person. It's Carolina Carnage last year in January, and you were like 185 because we were in the same class, except I was competing in novice and you were pro.
Yes. See, the beginning of last year was rough because I just moved from Orlando to St. Augustine, and I was here by myself without my girlfriend. So I was barely eating everything because, from Monday to Friday, I'll work like, 50, 55 hours doing some new shit that I wasn't accustomed to. And then on the weekends, I'll drive 2 hours back home and go back Sunday. So it was like a rough time in January till April probably, because you seen me at my biggest at that point, because by the time I pulled at IFA, which was in March, I was 169 and I did not cut weight. I did not do anything, like it was just me. I was like at 190 going down to like 185, 180.
That's crazy.
169. So 169, I weigh in at IFA, and I didn't I ate steak on the way there. That's how crazy it was. And then eventually my girlfriend moved up with me here. We stopped renting in Orlando, and now I slowly got back to 185, 180, 185, 190, 200. Cut down from Mississippi State in November. Sat there because once I cut weight, it kind of stays with me. So I stayed at 190 since November till probably December. And then I think that's when me and Jeff Frank talked about super match with Alan Ford, and I figured Alan Ford is naturally at that 210 pounds, 220. I'm like, all right, so I cannot be 190. I have to be somewhere like a 208 ratio at least. So I'm trying to bulk up, but I think this match postponed with all the coronavirus stuff. So, but I'm still like 200, 205, which is not, I think I'm not too solid for the class, but it is what it is. Like I much rather probably go and pull somebody 205 and maybe beat somebody somewhat good. And it's, to me, it's going to be more valuable than beating somebody really good, like 185 class probably.
So you said you're living in St. Augustine right now. Are you competing with a team right now, or do you just kind of train by yourself?
We never really had a team because I barely practice. Like if somebody comes to my house, like I'm like, well, you come to my house, I practices. I don't host practices, but currently we practices at Worley's house on Tuesdays, which is a weird day, but that's what we do on Tuesdays. And like I'll just come up there, and he has like a group of guys coming over from like surrounding areas, and usually before the new year. Before the Mississippi State, kind of, I was doing that on Tuesdays, and I'll have a guy, Anthony Harvey, come to my house on Fridays. So I always get those 2 practices in a week, but I don't really have I don't have a group. I never had a group. Like, so whenever somebody like coming from, when I used to live in Orlando, if somebody comes by to like, hey guys, I've been in Orlando, can I get to your practice? We'll have to create a practice because we don't practice. I'm like, hey, Jacob coming over, can you guys make a practice? And then we'll make a practice. It looks like, hey guys, how often you here? That's like first time in forever.
That's funny.
When Valentin, the guy from Bulgaria, came to Florida to live here, he worked here for a couple of months. He went like full Bulgarian on us. Like he started having practices with us on Saturdays, and he's like, every time we finish a practice, he's like, next Saturday? I was like, fuck. All right. So we kept doing that with him till like whenever he was gone. So we had solid group of people, like Sarah will come, Worley will come. It was back in Claremont, so Central Florida. As soon as Valentin left Florida back to Bulgaria, this practice stopped.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So Artem, we told you a little bit at the beginning that we like to play a little game called Two Truths and a Lie, just to kind of get to know our friends a little bit better. What do you got for us?
You know what? Let me write something down.
Ooh.
Give me the subject. Give me what can we talk about? What can be a good subject about it?
Anything. We're not monetized, so.
I know, but like I figure you can, like, I don't know.
About your life. It doesn't have to be about arm
Two
wrestling.
true things and one fake thing, and we got to guess what it is.
It's a tough one. Have anybody else done it to where like I can get an example of it? Like I just don't know where to go.
So let's say, for example, if I was gonna say 2 truths and a lie, I guess be like, okay, I'm 6'1", I'm 185 pounds, and I have 6 toes.
That's too easy. See, I'm thinking more complicated. I need to make it super funny. Okay, hold on. Okay. Arm wrestlers that smoke weed.
No, Paul Douglas Passmore did it, no problem.
You're gonna get it.
I'm just saying. I bet Brandon Elsesser could do this, no problem, Artem.
Hold on, Devin Laird. Oh, I got this.
Never just put you on the spot about it.
Yeah. You're the first one to take this so serious.
I'll probably come up with something better along the way, but I just the first thing I can think of. What's the other? Oh, I know.
You can stop us anytime and redo it.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm going to edit it out.
So. I can cut out all the rating.
Okay, I'm just going to give you 3 names. You guess it, which one is the true, which one is a lie. So 3 names of arm wrestlers that smoke weed. It's going to be Devin Laird. It's going to be Todd Hutchings. It's going to be Travis Bajan.
Todd Hutchings does not smoke weed.
Yep, I agree with that.
I'm gonna guess Todd.
That was too easy. It was too easy. God damn it.
We know the other 2 do.
That's good because Travis Bajan is one of the biggest potheads I know. So.
Yeah, you owe us a better one later.
Yeah, I'll think about something.
All right. So,
we should look like 3 natural arm wrestlers. Hey.
None of them.
Yeah, there aren't any.
None of them.
Well, I didn't know.
We're going to jump into the questions and conversations next.
All right, perfect. I guess I'm stuck at this game.
All right.
Just to be clear, you lost.
So,
Normal day.
Yeah.
so I'll start off some of our questions and conversations on where exactly are you from?
Exactly. I'm from Siberia, Russia. That's not where I was born, but I was born in a city that makes AK-47, so it sounds badass. But I was just born
Nice.
there. Then we moved. My mom moved to Siberia because there was no money back in the like 80s and 90s, and Siberia was the only place that was paying anything because you simply live there. So we moved there, and I lived there all the way until we kind of moved to cities to cities. Then in 2013, in May, we moved here in Florida, in Orlando, to where I lived in Orlando all the way until last year, right before the whole pandemic happened. I moved to St. Augustine,
So,
which
real
kind of
quick,
worked out.
so you're basically saying you moved from what people think is the coldest place in the world to one of the hottest places in the United States.
Exactly.
That's an adjustment right there.
Yeah, it was a little, yeah. And people troll me right now because I'm cold all the time. I like to be warm. Like, "Dude, you're from Russia. Hey, I'm from Russia because I prepare for the cold. I still like it hot. That's why I'm in shorts and I'm freezing. Like,
Right.
if I was in Russia, I'll have double pants right now and like 3 layers of jackets because I'm ready. But
So,
not here.
I know we touched on it a little bit. Like, so when exactly? Like, when did you come over to like the United States, and like what made you come over? I know we touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to ask you that.
There's nothing I can really say because I was like just turned 18, so it wasn't none of my choice. Like my mom was working on the process for like years. I think it took her like probably 8 years to move here. So I was just like tagging along. I was still in college trying to do some shit, and like my mom was like, well, whatever your plans are, like no more like we going to another country. And I'm like, well, can we I only got one thought because we always super broke. I'm like, well, we coming to America, can we buy an iPhone now? Like that's what she's like, no, you're kind of gonna go to work. I'm like, huh? What work? Wait, what?
Work.
So I came from like I was in an incredible year at my college to where it's not the college, like a technical school to where you was supposed to be a pastry chef, but it was my second year there to where it's just practice, to where there is no school. So I go to the class, we'll cook some shit, and that's it. So from 8 till like noon, I'm there and I'm out. I have all day, I'm doing whatever, I'm going to the gym, I'm living life. And my mom is like, well, no more of that. You have to go to work. Like in the language you don't know, and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, so that was just it. So I don't really, it's not like I was motivated to change my life and shit and move down to the country. I was like, all right, I'll pack the bags.
Damn, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So how did you get into arm wrestling?
I think it was back in Russia. Like, I think the A1 tournaments were just like start to exist, and they were super popular. They were streamed on certain TV channels, and it was a big thing to where like I actually had a little party in my house. Like, hey, I have a free house. Like, let's everybody come and watch the A1. And it was like, now that I'm thinking about how bizarre it was that like arm wrestling was so big on TV and people like watching this stuff. So I was kind of watching that. I was always arm wrestling in like classes and stuff, and beating people in school, and people always tried to tell me, because we did have an arm wrestling class in my hometown, and they're like, hey, you have to go message that guy, talk to this guy, because you should go to the class and meet with the team and go to the tournaments. And I was just getting to the gyms, and I was always like skinny guy, like 120, 132 pounds. So I just started going to the gym to where like I already knew, like I just want to work out and be big, and I knew if I want to go to arm wrestling, there's no getting big happening. I'll have to cut weight, stay the weight classes, be all what you have to do to be in sports, and I kind of didn't like that. So kind of took a year for me to like, what, I'm gonna go. So I messaged the guy. He took me to this gym to where it was like the size of it was smaller than my house, bro. The whole gym was like, I don't fucking know. It looks super tiny. It's like a hallway. It's a long gym, probably, I don't know, probably 8 foot wide by, I don't know, like 25 feet at most. So it's a small, tiny hallway type gym with like 3-4 guys with like giant forearms and shit. And like, I just kind of started like practicing with them, and like that was horrible. Also, I was practicing it for a long time. I thought a couple of good months. Like I'm geeking in it. Like my technique is down. There was supposed to be some type of like a badass regional tournament, and that day I learned like two things. Actually, just one thing. I was asking normal questions. I'm like, all right, well, what do I compete at? Like I'm, let's say I'm like 140 pounds at this point. Like I'm pulling 154. Is there like an amateur class? What do I do? Like, I've been at it for like a couple of months now. No, there's no such thing. I'm like, all right, well, who's gonna be in my class? Well, this and this guy, he's a world champion. This and this guy that just won worlds. This and this, like a Russian national champion. I'm like, oh, I guess I have to wait, huh? No, you go check. You might beat them. I'm like, oh, okay. We'll see how that works out. So I was hyped up to go there. I'm telling my mom like, yo, I'm going to the fucking tournament. I've been training. I'm good to go. She's like, oh no. They got their visas. Like a couple of weeks, you have to go to America. What if you break your arm? Who's gonna carry the luggage? I'm like, fuck your luggage, mom. I'm trying to win here. Some shit. Like, it broke my heart. I was telling my guy, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna arm wrestle anymore. There's no way. Like, my mom's saying I'm gonna break my arm. I have to move. I was like a little bit negative in there for a long time, but I just kept training until I moved. And when I moved here, eventually, that one is a long story, but it's funny. I was like, my English like nowhere near where it needs to be. So I'm like typing to a translator, like, generic messages. Hey, I'm so and so. I live here. I need to find practice, right? I emailing everybody, and like I didn't know. I mean, back in 2012, 2013, the Facebook arm wrestling wasn't really there. I think personally, because I haven't discovered it yet. But once I did, I don't think it was that big because people were just transferring from Northeast board, right? It was Northeast board, and then it went to Facebook. So, and there was not much information really to find so easily, right? Right now, if you want to be arm wrestler, you can be on arm bed. And if you want to do a little more hard work, there's articles on Reddit, on Facebook. Derek Smith does this like practice list where you can find everybody with links and shit. I've done video like that. Back in 2013, I was emailing motherfuckers. I'm like, hey, through translators. So like people could not understand what the fuck it was because it was translated. So like it's not really too accurate. Eventually, I messaged like I think Leonard Harkless, and he forwarded my email to John Wilson, and John was like, hey, I got your email, call me. I'm like, shit, I don't fucking speak English. I have to call him. So I called him. I'm like, yo, blah, 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 blah. So he kind of understands what I need. He sends me the address of my intro guy, Brandon Morris, right? He gives me his phone and his address and like when the practice is going to be. So he kind of figured out for me. That was the culture shock because I looked at the address first on Google Maps and it was a house. It was a regular house. And I'm like, I was confused because back in Russia, all I see pictures is gyms. I'm in the gym. I'm like, I don't know about arm wrestling in houses. I never seen that shit before. So I'm messaging John Wilson. I'm like, hey, I looked at the maps and it's like a regular house. Is that like a private gym? Do I need to buy a membership? What should my attire be like? What do I need to do? No, it's a regular house. Like, all right, sounds sketchy as fuck. Then Brandon messages me. Practice Saturday, 2:00, bring beers. I'm like, fuck, does he know like I'm 18? Like, I can't buy no beers. Like back in Russia, I could, but like I'm like, yo, dog, I'm 18. Oh no, it's okay. Like it's a generic message, just come. I'm like, all right, this sounds sketchy as fuck. So I come there and like Brandon meets me like this. For some reason, I wasn't impressed, but any other motherfucker like me should. Brandon comes out there, just all massive tattoos covered down, no t-shirt, like pure like Florida man type fucking image. I'm like, all right, cool. So I didn't say the words for the whole 2-3 hours. I just arm wrestled. That's it. That was my introduction to American arm wrestling.
Were you expecting them to all be naked when you showed up at the house?
I didn't know what to expect. My mom, me and my mom just kind of moved to our own place, and because once we moved here, we lived with grandma, but we we didn't want to do that, so we bought a house like as soon as we could. So my mom was like, "Well, you go there if it's like a party and everybody smoke weed and drink beer, so you go home." I was like, "You got it, Mom."
Now look at you.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I go there. It smells like weed. Everybody's drinking. People walking around. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it's pure like Florida man type fucking like vibe over there. But that was my introduction.
That's awesome.
Gotcha.
So, how did you transition from being an arm wrestler to being an arm wrestler that now is like big on YouTube and social media? Like, what got you into that aspect of it?
Well, see, I was always like into art and doing graffiti and like taking pictures and videos, I think. And like the first practices, I was like taking pictures or practice, doing some little videos, and like I'll just eventually slowly will put them out on my channel. Just like the titles will be funny. There's not like a catch. I was just trying to upload some shit, right?
Yeah.
It will be like, Brandon Morris does this or like whatever. It's not like nowadays you can do like crazy Florida man, arm wrestles 50 people. Like, no, it was like
Right.
I would just start slowly filming stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all like practices. Then I'll go to the tournaments. I'll try to get my own videos of me, of Brandon, and something. And just eventually, the more people I've seen do similar thing, I was like, oh, I can do that shit too, right? So like I'll see somebody filming their home gym setup. I'm like, oh well, I mean, I only got 200 views. I'm like, fuck, that's a lot, and I can do better shit than that. So like every small thing motivated me, and like I just kind of became doing like I got a better. I still don't have a full picture of what I'm doing. Like I don't fucking know what I'm doing. I'm just doing everything. But I just kind of was like always drawn to like arm wrestling and documenting it, because I think one of the point is that I felt like nobody was doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the tournaments, you pull, and like eventually like nobody have videos of you pulling. And there's 50 people with cell phones out all the time. And you could not ask anybody for your video. So I'm like, somebody has to do that shit. So I just started slowly filming my guys. Whatever who's trains with us, I'll film them. Eventually, I'm like, if it was funny, I'll just film something interesting. Like it was like all the way up to like 2018, 2017. Probably that was like to where I still was filming random stuff. I would go to the tournaments, I'll film some of it. And I'm like, okay, then I think George Relic was talking shit like, oh, I film entire tournament. I'm like, okay, I can put my camera on tripod and film the whole tournament. It was a fucking big deal. So then I just started kind of doing that. I'll film the tournament, and then I turn into like a sort of business idea, right? Like if you want me to come and film the tournament, I can now put a price tag on it. But regardless, I'll still go to tournaments and film them. So it's just like I just kind of want to share what I knew if I knew something, and just as far as tournaments, I want to go and film tournaments. So it was just kind of, I don't know, like it felt like nobody was doing it at the time, and still nobody really does it really well right now. So the market is so open. So it was just different motivational ideas, right? From tournament perspective, I want everybody to have footage. I want everybody to have cool pictures. So I was trying to do that, and now I just see that there's arm wrestling content everywhere, right? Like we can do this podcast right now. You can film practices. People want to watch everything arm wrestling, so you can film literally everything. So it's like that's almost too easy. Just like you wish you can have more of that. Or I wish I was more interesting. So whatever I do makes no views, right? But I'm just not there. But
we wish you were too.
Make some more views. Like,
I love your videos, man.
Yeah, seriously.
I watch all
keep
your
up
stuff.
with all of them.
Yeah.
I have the guy yesterday messaging me like he messaged me a long time ago asking about like if I want to come down and train them or something, but it was like 3 hours away. I'm like, I appreciate you guys wanting me, but I don't. And I appreciate like making money and coming and like thinking I'm somebody where I can give a seminar or some shit, but there's guys closer to you that, you know, I'm not that degree or some shit. Like there's a couple other guys that can train in your area, blah, 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 blah. And whatever, I kept giving advices to the guy, and he just watched my podcast like all the way through. Like I did the podcast on Sunday, and by the end of the podcast, I started talking about like wax and shatter and shit like that. And the guy messaged me back, like, dude, I just watched your podcast, and I think I didn't mention the first time we talked that I worked at the dispensary. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh,
I'll be right there.
when they were doing the seminar, bro, I came back to your messages before we became the best friends. Like, what are we doing? I'm off on 16, 13, or whatever. I'll be there. So yeah. So I guess people do watch my stuff. So it's cool.
How much weed do we need to have you to come up to?
Oh, that's a flight though.
That's like
you have to come to the flight and probably
part of plane worth.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of interesting you said like no one's doing it. Like, I mean, there are people doing it, but like I remember the Gary Roberts days. You know what I mean? Where he was doing it big with Arm TV, and when he left, there was like a huge void in videos and just like watching tournaments. Like I remember there was a couple of years that it was just kind of like really dull in the sport, and people weren't getting filmed, and there was no pictures being taken. It was like a weird time.
Yeah,
you know, I remember that. But
yeah,
you know, like where do you see like your content going? Like, what are your goals for all that? Because I mean, you're doing big things right now with it.
Well, it seems like I'm just trying to do more stuff. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on the harder really, you know what I'm saying? Like I think the more the more stuff I do, the more just eventually the more, you know, snowball effect I'll create. Like I do have a bunch of ideas all the time to where I kind of write them down and, you know, I go at it. But like I guess in a couple more weeks where my roommate moves out and I'm kind of relocating, like y'all not gonna see this like in the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna have my own room. Like it used to be my own room, but now my girlfriend works from home, so now I'm stealing her setup. So now she's gonna have to come to work tomorrow and she have to do this. So, and like she already met me basically, but I have my own setup. So my Sunday podcast not gonna be just me anymore. I'll have Worley with me. Preferably every Sunday, right? So it's going to be 2 of us. Now we're going to have a conversation. Which my Sunday podcast are really easy. Like once I get like 8 people in there, 1 question and that's it. Like I still just start talking for an hour. So my podcasts are fairly easy and I like them. Now that we'll have Dan with me, I'll have a more better conversation. We can go in depth about arm wrestling, but as far as my own content, like I don't know, I'm just gonna do the same thing, just harder. But I have a couple of ideas. I want to have little projects, like I can do some how-tos here or what to do here. I have a good idea that I'm gonna release for probably, I don't know. I think I do for just now that I have Patreon, I can do some Patreon stuff first and gonna release to the public. But I want to talk about, I have a good little project, and I see Ryan just did it too, but he did it purely money based. I seen his post. He was like, you know, I can give you social media advices. Go to this. I kind of want to I want to do the same thing, but then I read his post. I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm still want to do my thing. I want to make a video series. I'm gonna call it something like a lame ass arm wrestler series, because my point is gonna be talking shit to every top arm wrestler out there, like every elite type guy, because how much they're missing out by not doing social media, right? I'm not trying to be like Gary Vee and shit, like you need to pump TikToks and YouTube and blah, blah, blah. But I just wish like there's so many arm wrestlers, especially like WL, to where they get their shot almost so like too easy, right? There's people that constantly WL like matches. And then I just think they realize how much they're missing out on, how much they can sell themselves, I feel like.
Right.
And I want to make a little video series to where I want to, actually 2 series. I want to talk about how to start doing stuff, because I get messages really often like, hey man, I want to start a YouTube channel. What do I do? And I'm explaining the same thing over and over again, to where I know there are people that charge for the consultation like that.
Yeah.
I just want to make a free video. I'm like, hey, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to do this, you buy this and you do this. If you want to do this, you don't need to buy anything. Like, I want to break it down if somebody wants to start something. So if anyone in arm wrestling want to do something, that's it. I'm just gonna send them the link for the video. Watch this, and I'm gonna, because everybody do different stuff. Like, you guys here do the podcast. They're like Uncle John that kind of does like everything. There's Alex that just like kind of does like tournaments and like viral videos. So it's all different stuff.
Yeah.
So, and you can go with different ways, with different setups, right? And the lame ass arm wrestling series will be about how you should take your persona to social media, right?
Yeah.
Slowly or heavy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just bizarre that, like, I don't know, like, there's so many really good examples. Like, I don't even know, like Jordan Seal, Craig Tullier. I think the most horrible example of it could be Mike Silverius, because I feel like Mike Silverius could have been like a Devon Lair type guy, because not because of his achievements, but he been in so many places. Like, Mike Silverius is always like, on old Gary's videos.
Yeah.
He's on his new video that he just pumps out. He been in like Pulling John. He been in every documentary. He's in WL. He's in Game of Arms. And he, like, if it was me, I wouldn't be having to work. I'll be like the guy, like, because he got so much like legit TV sized content. Like, hey, he can be somewhere, but hey, I'm not a wrestler and I'm an actor. I've been in so many movies. Like, like, there's so many angles, like,
Yeah.
that you can use. Like, and so far, there's only like 3 good arm wrestlers that use that angle, right? I think the number one will be, like, unfortunately, it's Ryan Bowen, that got his one WL match, and he wrote it off perfectly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's the only one guy that got his shot and he used it properly.
Yeah.
And, like, there's Michael Todd. Michael always been a hustler, though. You'll see Michael always been like some type of like selling trainings, Thrive, some type of. So he's always been doing something and promoting himself. So his YouTube channel takes it off. And obviously, I think there's Devon Larry, but Devon been doing this thing for like a while. I was just thinking about it. Devon's probably one of the first arm wrestlers that like did YouTube kind of like me, to where he was just kind of pumping content out, like, but just whatever. There's not like, he doesn't do, he was just doing stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that. Actually, when did I meet Devon? 2017. I don't know how old Devon's channel is, but I know it haven't been monetized till like 2018.
Yeah.
Like, I was already making like a little money. I was not making like $20-$30 a year in 2017. But I'm like, I start talking to Devon. I'm like, hey, why I'm not seeing any ads? Are you monetized? He's like, what is that? I'm like, dude, send me your password and like email. I'm gonna hook it up. He sent me his setup. At the time, I think he used so much copyrighted music to where I tried to approve him for monetization. The YouTube basically said, no, this channel cannot be monetized. And I was trying to attack their support for like months, and I couldn't do nothing. I just said, Devon, I'm sorry. But eventually he got somebody, or he figured out himself, and he got his monetization in like 2018. So Devon been only monetized for like 3 years probably.
Yeah.
And that's a crazy fact. So that's where we're at, I think. So I don't even know what the question was, but I'm just trying to say that, like, oh, you asked me about like my content. So that's where my content is at.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Well, I'm going to take it in a little different direction. And I mean, you said something kind of strange to me, that like you guys don't really like have like teams in your area. Like, I feel like in our area, in like the Northeast area, like Philadelphia, Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, like we're all about teams. Like, we have like legitimate like teams every week. Like, we practice as a group. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's your training style, since you're not officially a team? Like how's it evolving over time, like with training and everything like that you're doing?
Well, see, like in Florida, we do have teams. I'm just never been, whenever I come around, everybody stop being consistent, right? If you do have a team in Jacksonville, it's like an hour away, and they practice every Thursday religiously for years. we have like a team down south with like Andre and Frank Diaz and Dickey, and like they have the silverback thing. It was Mox in there too. So that's like at least two like solid teams, and there could be something like on another coast. Here, not so much, especially with me. So but realistically, I've never been a practice guy. Like I've as soon as I start practicing like with Brandon back in Orlando, I hated that because like every Saturday people want to practice in arm skirts and shit, and I was like just overtraining. So I was never. I stopped being a fan of practicing for a while. Like like between I don't know 2015 to like 2020. I was either practicing like one time a month or one time in 2 months or whatever the ability was. I never needed to practice, to be honest, because like I kind of got my technique down early on, so I just never been a fan of them. And like if somebody happens to have a practice and I'm free, I'll drive down. So I sometimes I can go to practice every Saturday. Sometimes it's been like once in 2-3 months, and I was okay with that because to me, I like the idea that you cannot really gauge yourself with the practice. So I kind of always like the idea of working out in the gym rather than table time because that kind of table time is important. But I like the gym because like by the time you go to the practice, and if you're not too smart, you're gonna get like I wouldn't say hurt. You're just gonna, you're gonna be in pain after practice, and then you have to come back to the gym, and like God forbid you kind of did too heavy on practice, so now you can't come back to your weights. That's my problem. I need to be in a good routine for my weights to be up. If not, I'll be like doing the same weights for like years, and that happens to me all the time. So that's why I've never been a fan of practicing. I just like being in the gym, so I can be consistent in it. I don't have to skip after heavy practice. But now it's changed in since I started doing this job because like I deliver appliances for a living, so I'm always beat up. Like it doesn't matter if I have practice. Like I can't choose. If I want practice, I have to go practice, and I can't switch my day of work. Like if my Monday consists of me doing a fridge alone by myself up to third story with no elevator, I have to do that. So I liked Todd Hutchings' approach about, pain doesn't equal weakness and stuff like that. So I kind of embraced it. So that's why right now I practice twice a week, or I can do three if there were people around. So kind of with me, I just go where practice is at. So I don't really, we don't have a team. So if I message Dan, well, Dan is my boss. So I just see him at work. I'm like, hey, are you practicing tonight? He's like, no. Perfect. I'll see you next week. So if there are people coming, and it's normally random people that are coming to Tuesdays to his house, I can be there. So that's all it is. So, but if not, I'm totally okay because, like, right now, this week been awesome because, I kind of had a headache today. Ideally, I should work out right now, but by today, and it's only Wednesday, I already worked out 5 times. I worked out twice on Monday. I did workout and a practice yesterday, and I worked out heavy this morning. So I already did 5 workouts, and it's on a Wednesday. So I can do another one, after this thing. But I'm probably lying. I'm gonna go to bed. But tomorrow I can still squeeze one in, like in the evening, and one Friday. So by Friday I will still have 7 workouts in me, and I only need like 3. But 7, 6, it's like I'm good. So that's kind of how I trade. I like my gym stuff. If I happen to be at practice, I go to practice, and like it's just funny. With me, I don't care because it's me going to practice. It's just funny when people come here. We get so many people that just kind of flirts for vacation. I just have one guy from Armbet hitting me up like, "Hey man, can I practice with you guys?" I'm like, dude, there's no practice with you guys because there's no guys. But you can come. Like, I'm free. I'm just telling everybody, I'm free in those times. You let me know what date, and you come. But it's just gonna be me and you. If I can get somebody to me, you can do a little practice. But I'm just kind of, like we just don't have a practice. I don't know. I feel like it's only me like that.
I don't know many arm wrestlers myself that do 2-a-days like you're talking about. So that takes me into my next question. What advice would you have for like newer pullers that are coming into the sport? You know, like if I wanted to start arm wrestling or start training, you know, today, what would you tell me?
Well, I will probably, it depends on the age, right? So if you're like some younger person, then it's like kind of harder, I guess. If you're an older, there's so much less stuff you can do because you don't have that much time. If you're a new younger guy, I'll probably say you need to do your practices. You need to be smart at practices and practice all the time. Practice as much as you can. Make sure they're not like, you know, heavy practices. Because what you want to do, you want to build emotion. And if I'm kind of talking from experience, because when I was back in Russia, we will go to I'll go to the regular bodybuilding gym, let's call it, let's say Friday, Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll have an arm wrestling gym Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I'm on the table at least 3 times a week back in Russia, but people will not allow us, we have a coach that will not allow us to pull hard. So I'm on the table 3 times a week doing light stuff. I'm creating my technique. I'm doing something, style-wise to where I'm solid on the table. So that's where I think it's a ideal fast way for you to build your motions on the table healthy. If you're smart enough to where you're not trying to fucking grind every day, it's really easy and like polite way for your muscles to realize the techniques and moves and stuff. So that's as far as the technique. That's why I'll put arm wrestling specific stuff right there. That's all the arm wrestling you need to be a practice. Gym wise, for younger person, you need to build the power first, because I did this mistake for years. I think I was doing too much specific stuff, but I've never been strong enough. So I'll be over there doing like pronation and supination and small little moves and stuff. But I couldn't like bench much. I couldn't deadlift much. So my overall base power wasn't there. And I've noticed the trend. I feel like every top level arm wrestler, like we're talking like elite, like we'll go like just number one guys in every weight class. Most of them are strong human beings. Like maybe they're not as too deep in the gym, but if they can lift some things, it will be heavy weights. So I feel like you need to build a strong core, I guess, for yourself and have the power level. And then you add the arm wrestling stuff, right? If you're an older person, it will be a little different. You need to do both in the same time. A little bit of arm wrestling, just what you can do, and power moves, right? If you're a younger person, I feel like just building power first and having the practice, that's one thing. And once you get to like training for the actual tournament, that's when you can like have a little program to where you do some basic stuff, but you do add a specific exercise like working on the table, pronation, doing a little silly stuff that we do on the table and the cable. But I feel like the power thing, I just kind of like I just kind of start thinking about it. And the last program that I did by my coach was just for the Mississippi State, and it was just power stuff. I didn't do single fucking biceps curl. Well, I did like easy biceps curl, but I didn't do anything but that. And that was an amazing. I was probably in the best shape I've ever been to. So, and I feel like same thing with women too. Like everybody just proving that theory. Like I looked at Sarah, how far Sarah is ahead of every other like female arm wrestler for US. The only difference is she fucking works out and she's strong as fuck, right? She lifts more than me in a lot of fucking ways. And that explains her power. There's not any other woman in arm wrestling that can lift as much as her. So I believe that raw power does make a difference, right? And that's why women arm wrestling is so terrible, because they're all kind of technical, but they don't have a power. So women arm wrestling is always like disgusting to watch, because like some shit like that all the time, because there's not much power behind them. So, and there were other there was too many examples, because I was building a theory for a while. Like you look at Todd Hutchings, you look like a Devon, like his arm lifts, like everybody that's top level arm wrestler, they lift heavy. Like I mean, like Devon is kind of like funny example, but he have a nice power in his arms, but he can deadlift and do like basic stuff, but he still has a lot of power in his arms. So for the beginner, I'll say building power will be the best thing. And like I feel like building power is just important all throughout the way. So like that's why I'm kind of experimenting with this shit. So I'm doing my little seminars. I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over because I feel like the power stuff is the good base. And like talking to Sherman, that was kind of set myself because I feel like Sherman and Todd Hutchings will be the only two guys that kind of like have a nice, smart approach about training, and what they do kind of checks out. Todd Hutchings a little too extreme. You have to be careful of what he says before you apply it for yourself. But some people, I've heard there's some top level arm wrestlers right now that do the same thing Todd does, like as far as like doing one rep maxes, like more consistently, and they like that thing. And I'm like, I'm a little too scared about that because I've never been a guy. I never do one rep max. Like I've never done that in my life. So, and I've been okay, but I might try it some next time. Like whenever I'm gonna, I'm done with my training right now.
Yeah.
I think my next, I don't know, we should experiment. I'll try to do those one rep maxes and see if I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna get stronger. So it's all about trying stuff. But I think generic. I'm saying I'm pretty much accurate about trying to be stronger and make sure you be on the table. It's actually I'm gonna give it to that advice to everybody. Like if you're able to meet somebody throughout the day, like some arm wrestler, and you can do some light moves, it's always great. Like I'm just pissed that my roommate, who's a bomb, such a great arm wrestler, but he doesn't want to fucking be on the table. I'm like, dude, we can arm wrestle every fucking day. We have table at the house. I have table at the warehouse where we work. We have table at the store where we sort of sell appliances. I can arm wrestle every fucking day, every fucking hour, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
But that's something I suggest a lot of people to do. Because as long as you know that you can, like me and you can slightly have a little practice to what I'm lecturing, you do like, a couple of sets of top roll, and you let me do my own thing the same way, and both of us not going to get beat up, we can do the stuff every day. And it creates better motions.
Right.
Not necessarily create like superpower, but it'll create the motion. That's always important.
Yeah, that's good advice. We have a couple Facebook questions from people, if you don't mind answering some.
Let's do it.
Keith Howley asks, what is your most memorable arm wrestling match?
Oh, probably. I mean, it's easy for me because I haven't won that many matches.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say probably me and Chad Silver's left hand because that's like the only good win I have, probably.
Yeah.
Huge.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not like insignificant. Like that's really good.
Well, yeah, that's my only like really good win I can talk about. People know the guy, right? There's a couple of like matches to where probably been like motivational for me because I've been losing to like some guys and like I like little moments, right? One of the moments I do also like, it was me and Jason Rivas. And Jason Rivas is Florida guy that used to go to Worlds, and I think he plays pretty good. Like he used to be like maybe number 2, maybe he won Worlds at 150 or something, or maybe lower class. He was always been a top guy, and me and him pulled once at WL 2015, I believe. Tried to top roll him. First match, me and him, winner gets to pull Giannis.
Wow.
I'm like, hey.
How'd that go?
So you threw the match.
I didn't win. I already blew my arm on the first match. Jason beat me, and I lost to the second guy, and he had to lose to Giannis in the second match anyway. So I went 2-0, but me and him meet again a couple months later in Florida, in some Florida WL thing. We pull again. I'm in the worst shape because right now I can't even give him a match. I do the same top roll thing. He beats me, and I'm like, but I feel in my arm there's something there. I can't figure it out. I don't know what it is, but there's something. I need to do something else because I know somewhere in his arm there's the hole that I can find. Yeah. So I'm going to the place I never go to, and it's inside. And I did that for the first time in my life, and the match stopped. I'm like, oh shit. Where do I go? Well, I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm stopping. I'm in the match. I don't know where it goes, so I'm kind of like faking that hook thing, and that was like an important day for me because like I figured out that like I can't go inside, and it you don't always have to go for your to-go move. You can always, like, it's important to readjust. And that's what I tell guys at my seminar too. Like, it's important to readjust, throughout your career, right? If I know, like, Jacob goes for the top roll, and I can't stop him inside, and I'm the inside guy, it's important for me to next time try to go for the outside. I'm pulling Ryan, and and Ryan just hooks me every time, and I'm trying to topple him. Doesn't work out. It's important for me to eventually know to try hook, right? Eventually, that's in the long term. The goal is to do it throughout the tournament, and that's what I'm saying. I'm a little bit different. I will never go for the same move throughout the whole tournament unless I'm stronger than everybody. If I know you and how you pull, I will watch the way you lose. I will readjust throughout the tournament. And that's what my match with Jason kind of taught me, because I'll always go for the top roll, never works. I'm like, oh well, let's go in there. Oh, there's something. So I feel like it's important for me to find those holes. That's why I want to talk about the smash, because it's important. Even though Chad Silver's smash was great. It was a great story. Yeah. I beat Chad Silver's. Everybody was there to witness it. People discredited me with the left hand. I'm like, yo, who else beat Chad left hand in past 10 years besides Daniel Worley?
Yeah.
Like, nobody. So.
Yeah, I mean,
real quick, some credit.
To kind of piggyback on what you were saying, it's kind of, I tell a lot of new guys, fight for position sometimes, not necessarily for the pin, because it's better to end up on a positive side of a hook than you got stopped in trying to top roll, and now you're fighting palm up.
Yes, that's a good one. You know what, that was a great example of me at Arnold Classic to 2018 or something. They had those expo matches, like after the tournament, they had little expo things where you can just hey, you want to do a super match? Yeah, let's do a super. So like best of 3. And I was pulling one of your guys from Pennsylvania, Holden Rowe. Yeah, I think it's Holden. Yeah, he's like friend with Lucas and Paul Lynn.
Yeah.
So I think he won some amateur WL thing one time. So he asked me to want to pull. I'm like, yeah, fuck, let's pull. I topple him. He hooks me. I'm in such a bad side of the hook that we're oh, I'm fucked. Paul Lynn and Lucas Raymond over there in the crowd laughing, talking shit as I'm about to lose this match. They're like over there like this from the crowd. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. So I kind of just elbow foul to get a restart. Now I'm like, all right, I can't topple this guy. Let him go inside. I go inside on my own now. So what you're talking about, I want to go for the inside on my own terms. Once I did that, I went from fighting to not to lose to where I'm so comfortable. I'm there talking shit back to Pauline and Lucas Raymond, yo, that's your boy right here. So yeah. So that's important to if it's, as you said, it's not important to sometimes just to fight for the position. You can change something and now you're in a better spot, even though you're not in your natural technique.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Dave Baderman asks, what's your favorite arm wrestling YouTuber?
Ooh. Okay, so I don't nowadays. I've always been saying that I don't really watch too much, but nowadays I try to, because people watch my videos. I try to watch their videos. But I'm not religious. I'm not checking every video every day, but I try to if people talk about it. So I'll watch probably a lot of Devin's video, because every Devin Larratt video is kind of, you can always watch it. There's not a really bad Devin Larratt video.
Right.
And some of them could be so knowledgeable, he'll delete them the next day. There was one amazing video from him called Get Tight. It was such an awesome video, and he deleted it the next day. And I'm like, bruh, sorry, bro, I was too high.
Oh.
But it was such a good video that everybody, a lot of people missed because it was up for a date.
Yeah.
So Devin is obviously a good one. I watch Uncle John a lot because his videos are always, they're just smooth to watch.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah, the videos are there, and and that's important. Well, I guess he's a bad example, but because he's been arm wrestling for so much, but he still presents himself as the guy who's kind of coming back at it.
Yeah.
he's updating the progress. And a lot of people that want to do videos are like, well, what can I do? Like, I'm not the guy. I'm like, dude, I'm not the fucking guy either. I just want to film myself. And people think I'm somebody. Film yourself from the start and share, with your progress, because so many people just start every day. So and Uncle John is not that guy, but he still presents like he's coming back. So it's really nice to follow his progress and his videos, because they're really good.
Yeah.
They're nice to watch. So I don't mind watching his videos like as I work and stuff. I'll just turn them on my headphones. So Devin Laird, Uncle John. I always watch Brad Cooks too, because his tournaments videos are also too smooth not to watch.
Yeah.
I watch Alex's video too, like his tournament videos, especially like I've been to upstate in New York a couple of times, or I know many people that came down here. So I like watching his videos because like I've met a lot of people, so it's that's why they're more interesting for me.
Yeah.
So as far as the tournaments, Brad Cook and Alex. As far as just YouTube, Devin Laird, Uncle John. I don't want to say I watch somebody else, but I don't necessarily know. But like I try to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Especially people be like, hey, have you watched the new episode of this? And I'm like, back in 2013, it was so easier because there were like 1.5 person on YouTube.
Right.
Right now, everybody like does the new stuff. Everybody, like everything. So it's just like, okay, give me the link. I'll watch it whenever I'm free.
Right.
So I'm always trying to catch up whenever I get home. I get home, I'll eat my dinner, and I'll be like on YouTube, like, all right, what's happening? So but those the names I've listed is probably the ones I kind of been watching. It's easy for me to watch, because if it's not easy for me to watch and I don't like the fuck you're talking about, I'm not watching it. But it can be any level. Like you can be like, it's got a brand new channel, but as long as it's like cool and interesting, I'll fucking watch it. But if it fucking Travis Bates and Gary Roberts like talking shit and cold people weirdness for an hour, I'm not watching that negative shit. I have enough negativity in my life. I want to watch some cool, fun, kind Canadian shit, right? I'm not watching Travis calling somebody a bum for fucking 2.5 hours. Like, nah, I've had that.
Yeah. Sean Wayfield asks your favorite 3 arm wrestlers.
Todd Hutchings, Zoloev, and I'll probably be a bum and say Devin Laird, because Devin Laird is cool, but I want to replace it with somebody that's more like human being. That's why I like Todd Hutchings a lot, because Todd is like not a super heavy. He has a good system he got going on. He beat so many people. Same thing with Zoloev, because Zoloev is like your 200-pound guy that does correct stuff. He looks good on the training. He doesn't do crazy shit, so it's always pleasant to watch.
Yeah.
So him, Todd Hutchings, Zoloev, and I mean Delta is going to watch. Probably I'll go with those 3.
Okay.
But I feel like Devin should be replaced because Devin is just too good. I want to pick some more human being type guy.
Right. And Gymnasium asks, how many languages do you speak?
I'm good with 2. Like I'm good with Russian and English. I'm not as good with English, so I'm already bad in Russian, because whenever I talk to a Russian person, I'm like, fuck, I know this word in English, but now I forgot about Russian word. Right, English have some good phrases to where I was thinking about word hangry. There's nothing equivalent to the word hangry on every other language. How do you explain there's the word for being hungry and angry at the same time? It's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you speak better English than half the people I know.
You speak better English than Bevel does.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm verbally dyslexic.
Fuck. Well, sometimes people from Alabama try to argue with me, and I'm like, I'm always messaging to Justin. I'm like, yo, what's your boy saying?
He translate this for me.
Yeah, I'm good with Spanish too, because I lived in Orlando and I worked at the hotel, and my partner was the guy from Guatemala that have not spoke a word of English. He doesn't know a fucking word. So it's always easier for me to adjust. That's why I don't have a team, because I never really want to make a team or make somebody do something for me. It's easier for me to adjust to you. So I would just learning Spanish from him. So I'm perfect. Like, I'm really good at Spanglish. Like, my Spanish and English, I fucking know the hook.
Yeah.
And he's the only guy from our work that I have in contact with. So he'll message me like in audio and WhatsApp because that's how much like an immigrant he is. He's here legally. He only speaks Spanish, and he not educated, so he cannot type. He cannot write and type, and even in Spanish, like he's just never been in school. So, but he's like a big player too. He always hooks up some Latin bitches all the time. Like he pulls it off. Like they don't even know he can't type. So he always like in WhatsApp sends audio messages. So he sends me always audios every time, and then I just talk back to him. And it's always in Spanish. So like, oh, you speak Spanish like that? Well, he knows my Spanish, so me and him keep the conversation kind of tight. So somebody really asked me, hey, do you speak Spanish? No, because I don't really know. I don't know where you want to put me, because I only know like certain amount. So Russian, English, and I'm not trying to flex on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So next up, we talked a little bit about it. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Just answer quick as you can. First thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Oh, fuck, I already lost the first game. I don't know if we should play this one.
No, this one's a bit easier.
Okay. Should I hit my money? Okay.
All right, ready? All right. Hook, top roll, press. Which do you prefer?
Top roll.
Favorite training partner?
Nobody.
All right, Brandon Elsesser versus Daniel Worley, left and right. Who wins it and why?
Daniel Worley left because Daniel Worley right because Elsesser is a bum. Elsesser doesn't know how to arm wrestle. That's the thing. But probably strength-wise, he should be in right hand because I beat Dan right hand right now.
Okay, favorite training handle that you use?
Cone handle.
Gotcha.
A wrist range. Cone handle.
Strength versus technique. Which is more important?
Strength.
What's your max back pressure?
I think it was like 1 of 5 or something.
All right. Here's a good one. Communism or capitalism?
Oh, it's illegal to say communism, but regardless, it's capitalism. Because if somebody is watching this, make sure to go to my patreon.com and become a patron because capitalism.
I will sign up by the end of the night.
Everyone sign up for Artem's Patreon.
Everybody.
It's easy too. Patreon.com/TopRollKing.
There we go. All 2 of our followers will sign up.
Hey.
What is your max strict curl that you can do?
150 that I've done.
Ooh.
I think I can do like 160 probably.
All right. Is Sarah Bachman your best friend?
Sarah Bachman is my good friend, though. I will say, yeah. We chill with Sarah a lot. Like, yeah, Sarah is cool to wipe with.
Yeah. Michael Todd versus Levon. Who gets it?
Levon.
Yeah. Why?
I don't see Michael stopping it, to be honest. At first, I was thinking he will stop him. I don't know. I think from watching those videos and kind of catching the vibe that Michael is not stopping him.
Yeah.
I feel like he could. My theory was Michael can stop Levon, but I don't fucking know what happens after that. Is Michael stopping him and beating him, or Michael stopping him and Levon is pressing harder?
Yeah.
But right now, I'm kind of thinking that there's no stopping happening for some reason. But I don't know.
Levon's hand is too good.
I think he's just too strong. Like I liked Michael's match with Pushkar, but Pushkar was the person that everybody for the entire life of Pushkar. That's kind of fucked up thing to say it like that. For his whole arm wrestling career, everybody would tell Pushkar that he is a bad arm wrestler because he's not changing his technique, and he should, right? He should do something because that one shit not gonna work out. And that's not a bad theory, but if that matches Michael Todd, Pushkar was doing the same thing, but every time he'll do it just harder or elbow foul. There was so much good strategy in there. So I believe Levon can do the same thing, but he's just so much stronger, I believe. So, but who knows? Like it's Michael just a weird guy because like I don't like watching Michael Todd pulling guys at the same level as him. Because are we gonna see anything new?
Right.
No, we're gonna see this, and this, right? I like him watching regular people because he's up there standing up, smashing motherfuckers inside like nobody's there.
Yep.
And if somebody's stopping him, then he goes and kind of, he's not really as bad at it anymore, too. He's not really like this. Like you can see his WL matches, he's kind of just half drop, but it's always the same, so it's not as interesting for me.
Right.
So that's why I'm not really, I don't really follow this whole thing because like I'm kind of fed up with the same matches every time. But yeah, I don't really know. I just think like Levon could be so much stronger. That's my theory. I think he'll get so much stronger that he'll be in the same position to like Pushkar and Denny's got himself to where he maybe slows down by the very end of the pad, but he still presses down.
Gotcha.
So, Artem, I mean, is there anything else you'd like to add? I mean, for your future in the sport, where do you see things going? You want to redo your two truths and a lie? You have one more shot. No, I'm kidding. But
I didn't know. I thought I like that game better though. I feel like it was so much better because I like to say snarky shit. now we're gonna have a message from Brendan Elson. So, bro, I didn't believe you called me a bum, bro. I'm like, bro, I see you lose to Alex, bro. I can't call you a good arm wrestler. Goddamn.
We'll troll him for you when we see him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I like to troll people nowadays because me and Daniel are very on the same page to where I like to call a lot of good arm wrestlers bums because there's like so many strong high-level arm wrestlers are only there because they're so much stronger, right? Great example of like bad good arm wrestler will be Jordan Seal.
A bad good arm wrestler.
If you see his like overall in Idaho, he just smashing motherfuckers because nobody's trying to do anything. And he sets up all the same offset, carvening, like, his setup is just a normal, like, bad setup. And nobody's trying to match him. So it's not really maybe that he's so bad. Nobody really tries to do something. By the time he got to Justin Bishop, who was like the only smart arm wrestler over there, and he did something smart, it slowed Jordan Seal down. Like, right? Like, if only like Justin was a little bit stronger. So that's why right now I'm looking at arm wrestling differently. I'm looking at arm wrestling from a perspective of making money. Like, is the person that is pulling, is he worth anything views-wise, right? That's why I have no problem going to any tournament and saying, I'm the guy here. Even though there's 10 people that can beat me, ain't nobody worth watching as much as me. So it could be the case. But that's in terms of making views and money. But in terms of like being really good as far as strategy and adapting and stuff, there's not really that many people out there, right? Like there's like that watching Justin and Jordan and Idaho was a good example of that. Because there's like another good example of like Daniel Mosier. Daniel Mosier also is the guy that's just super strong. And it's not about him being bad. It's actually about other people not doing anything smart against him, right? Same thing like this Chad Silvers. Everybody like Chad Silvers and Daniel Moore is just so explosive, going inside, and they're strong-ass motherfuckers try to match that. And by the time they do that, Mosier is so fucking fast, he's already walking off for the next match, and they're thinking where you got pinned or not, because you tried to fucking go inside with him. So right now, I'm kind of, I'm looking at arm wrestler from different perspective, from being like smarter at the table, right? Because I feel like there's so many, probably not so many, but there are people that can beat Mosier, but nobody's trying. I feel like people that he beat still can beat him if they try something else. Like there's people like stop him, like, right? Like Ryan Bowen, like Bowen stopped and beat him because he went somewhere nobody else seems to go. Like, nobody else seems to try to attack Dan on the outside, right? Same thing with Chad Silvers. Like, everybody tried to go inside with Chad. Like, did you see Chad Silver's fucking biceps? I'm not going inside of that motherfucker. I'm taking his hand if I can. Like, what the fuck? So, that's my perspective. So, That's why, I look at the tournaments like, I'm not scared of the strongest guy. I'm scared of the guy that's like maybe weaker but smart. Because you're gonna fuck my shit up on my setup. By the time I try to cheat the life out of you and you're gonna fight me, like, oh well, now I have to do something. But if you get strong and I'm trying to out cheat you, get something, I'm not too worried because you're not gonna readjust. Like, same thing happened. Oh, you know what? Who's really dangerous is Tim Lewis too, because Tim will also be like a little bit dumb. Like he will try to hook some good top roller for 2 times, but he'll readjust on the last one. He's not scared. Like when me and him pull a super match, he did the same thing like 3-4 times, and then he started changing, and then when I was in trouble. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess we're back to readjusting stuff.
Yeah, Tim evolved a lot over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah, because he does the same thing, but he knows that he needs to change something to do something else to get to the same spot that
he just reached a 500-pound bench here recently.
Yeah, right. What did he like? Did he finally bench it at the meet? That what happened?
I think it was a gym PR for him. I don't think he did it at a meet, but he definitely did it.
I thought he already benched 500 before. I thought his goal was to do it at the meet. He was just always like going around it. I don't know. I feel
either way, super damn impressive.
Yeah, 500 pounds is still 500 pounds, whether it's in a gym or in a meet.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure what his goal really was. Because, I'm struggling with like 135. I struggled with 140 this morning. I benched for narrow too, so that's my excuse. What I was supposed to leave some motivational speech for like next generation. That was the question.
No. But we do want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks,
it was
man.
awesome.
Thanks for taking the time.
Your perspective.
Yeah, really. Thank you. I really appreciate it on such short notice too. I hit you up earlier this week.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was awesome. It was nice and short. I'm good to go smoke some shatter and eat some. That's gonna be my motivation for everybody gonna watch it. You guys have to make sure everybody watches should have a YouTube channel, a little bit of shatter, and chocolate milk, because chocolate milk is the way to go.
Chocolate milk makes you stronger.
Yeah. Well, me and Herman Stevens got this coffee recipe. Well, it's Herman's coffee recipe. I just made it a little bit bougier, but it's basically like. Do I have a cup here? I have a Pepsi can. So Herman's coffee idea. It's like this amount of coffee, this amount of creamer. Like not a creamer, heavy cream.
Yeah.
And then you add, vanilla, salt, cinnamon, whatever. I do the same thing. I just make like really good coffee, and then I go with heavy cream and like syrups and shit. And that's right there like 1,000,000 calories. So that will put you right there like Herman Stevens section. That's not advice I can give. I can give, make sure to have chocolate milk, drink Herman's coffee, and follow Herman Stevens' YouTube channel because he does some cool shit. Not cool shit, smart shit.
Do you think you'd be able to help us convince Herman to do an interview at some point?
No.
He hates doing interviews. Yeah.
Sure. Well, you know what?
We have to blackmail him.
Yeah.
I can ask him, but I know Herman is like the only guy that like have like principles, and if he like says no to something, it's probably a no. So it's hard for him to do something.
we have to troll him into it.
No, that's a horrible idea. Herman's way better at trolling than we are.
Yeah, it's hard to talk to Herman.
He's always been super nice to me when we've spoken. He's been very really, really cool with me. He's actually helped me out a lot. Like when I was newer, I'm still new, but like when I was newer, like I'd send him videos and he'd always pick stuff out for me and stuff. He's always been really good to me.
He is, but he's also, whenever he starts trolling and saying stuff, I don't get it a lot of times. I'll pretend and I'll like laugh, but I'm not sure if he's trolling me or like where we're going with it. Because but Herman is cool. Like I start to ask Herman more questions like nowadays. Like Herman's my to-go-to guy. I'm like, I'll be at work like just doing stuff and I'll be thinking like, hey, what about, for example, like resting before the tournament, like let me see the Herman thing. Herman, question. He's like, no. No. I ask him, I'm like, hey, Herman, I have a question. He goes, 25. It does not fit my question. So here's my question.
That's
So
fun.
like he's my to-go guy. I'll ask him something about arm wrestling, and I'll ask my coach. And like this, like I'll go base my opinion there. Also, I have a time to plug it in actually. Fuck. If I was slower at work, I'm gonna try to come out with this little arm wrestling book because I'm bougie like that. I think I can do a book. I'm obviously not gonna write it myself because it will be horrible and unreadable. I have some people to edit it, but I want to come with a little probably ebook about like arm wrestling training and shit because I don't think anybody's done it like because that's what I want to do.
James Ritter Rod. How do you say his last name?
Yeah. James has a yes. Fuck yeah,
you can't find it in paperback anymore.
Call it chocolate milk and wrist curls.
Yep.
There you go.
We'll read it on our podcast out loud.
That's not a bad idea for the title. Yeah, James
As
did
long
a
as it's a
book.
picture book.
Yeah.
It's all
Lots
pictures.
of pictures.
James did a book, yeah, and I don't think if I've had a virtual copy though, because I keep asking when I want to. I had an idea to write mine a long time ago. I just could never. I could never find what I want to write it about because training, get someone else's opinion, blah blah blah. I don't want it to be like I think I know something, but I don't really know it. So I want to know something that's 100%, and it's like it could be a little bit, aggressive because I want to write it like stop talking about tendons and shit like that. It's not helping in arm wrestling. People are gonna lose their shit. Oh, I thought tendons is the fucking shit, and half reps is the fucking best. I'll be like, no, full range of motions. It's all about your muscles. Now people lose the shit about it. So Todd Hutchings gave me a nice idea that when I did my seminar a couple of weeks ago, I went off that. Todd Hutchings' thing is about saving you time and money. Kind of like he tries, he wants to make sure he kind of tells you like what to do, what not to do. So if you pay for his seminar, it's worth your while. You're making money, right? If you pay Todd Hutchings $100 or whatever the amount he wants, you're making money back by the amount of knowledge he gives you, right? I don't have that amount of knowledge to give you because I'm kind of figuring out, but I can save you time. Right, I can tell you what to do if you're confused of the get-go. Right, if you don't know your weight class, you don't know what to do, where to go, how to do, what your goal should be. So I did my seminar based of that, and I was like, you know what, I can make a book about it. I can write it. I can do this whole thing in a writing thing to where if anybody reads it, it will save a lot of headache and a lot because we're all thinking about some shit. Like Jacob right now doesn't fucking know what weight class he should pull the next couple of tournaments. Because
you shut your mouth. I'm pulling 180 this weekend.
All right, what's gonna happen in 5 years when he's gonna want no 180 class?
I mean, to be honest, I've stopped worrying about weight class. I'm just trying to be as strong as I can be. Because there's like 165ers that crush most supers that I know. So it really doesn't matter if you're strong.
Me and Ryan identify as 154 pounds.
Yeah.
We're going to have to cut that out, Josh.
Artem,
we're going to have to edit that.
If I say that I identify as a 150 pounder, that they have to let me in because of, the media these days.
We're going to have to cut this out so bad.
Well, I don't know.
What if I go to the media and say they won't let me compete and I identify as a 150-pound man?
Well, see, you're talking from up north perspective.
Yeah.
If you go to Florida and you just let me know that you want 50 all day.
Nice.
we have guys. I'm not gonna say the name about Brandon Morris or nothing, but I believe last 2 years Brandon came in at 230 pulling 198. That happens. So it's you just
take their word for it.
Yeah, you just Are you 150? You 150 to me, bro?
I always go in and I tell them I say I'm 150 and they look at me funny and I'm like, are you calling me a liar? You know what I mean?
Well, can you step on the scale? No, why? You don't trust me, bro?
Scale's broken.
Yeah. It's happened over the years, so it's not like you can't do it. I remember Tim Lewis got me like that one time when me and him had a super match.
Man, this man's name dropping everybody.
Bro, well, no. See, at my tournament, I only did one tournament that I want to call mine. I wanted people to weigh in because I'm not gonna be strict, but I want you to weigh in, and I'm not gonna give too much allowance either. Like I'm not like a 5 pound guy. I don't want like mostly in Florida. We don't weigh in at tournaments in Florida unless like Karen Bean's tournament. There's not really a weigh-in procedure like our tournament or like no people weigh in Brandon's, but it's not really that super strict. We're not gonna make it wrong. But I remember me and him finished a super match. And he was trying to pay me because of the bet. I'm like, dude, it's all good. Because he didn't like the last call. So I didn't want to take his money. I'm like, you just, you take it. I don't want you to pay if you don't agree with the call, right? Just, I won because, the referee said, I don't want you to spend money on it. Just keep your money. You came to my tournament. It's all good. I'm like, no, take the money just put me in the class. So, I just put him in his normal class, 200. And I'm like, hold on.
Man, it's like 225.
I'm like, team was like 220, but like, so like he was like tired from the thing, so he still like, I don't think he won a class, but somebody like asked me like, what's team doing there? I'm like, I don't know. If he gave me money, he wanted to be in a class. I don't know. So I'm trying to that much a big deal. So you're gonna have a problem with yourself, really. You know what I'm saying? If you pull that class and you won. Like that's what Brandon told me. When Brandon won that 200, he said like it was like stealing because like sometimes you'll pull and you get your ass whooped and like okay, well that's you feel okay because you cheated your way in technically, but you still got your ass whooped. So it's like whatever. But
you were talking about seminars. I went to a seminar recently that had Hutchings and Bajan and Paulin and Michelle Dugan. And they had this tournament that was like a top to bottom tournament, right? It's like the person you were closest with and weighted who you were paired with first, and then they like as you won, you got closer to the lighter guys or the whoever was better. So anyway, having the good luck that I do, Anthony Snook shows up, right? And we both weigh in.
Yeah, I watched it. I'm like, me and my roommate JP. I'm like, yo,
was
JP,
so bad.
Yo, that's my boy Jacob. He gonna do something. Maybe not.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. As soon as they said Jacob Bevel and Anthony Snook, I was like, it's over. I'm just gonna. I tried so hard. He's so fast. We both weighed in at like exactly 190.3, except I weighed in with clothes on. And he came in like jacked. It was crazy. He's so fast, dude. It's crazy.
See, I feel that way with any name they say, not just Anthony Snook.
I'm with you. If I know you, I'll probably be like, if I don't know you, I'm like, oh, who's this guy? Like, I better get on the opposite side. That happened to me when I pulled with Chad Silvers. I was like, I didn't want to pull the tournament. They paid me good money to come and film. I drove there, and they're like, well, if you drove all the way here, you sure don't want to pull. I'm like, no, I already have money in my pocket. I'm ready to bounce. Like, I'm not pulling. Well, just pull one class. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll pull my first match. Like, Artem Taranenko, Casey Coley. I'm like, fuck. Casey Coley's in the class. And he's like, he beat Micah Yellow.
Yeah.
My fucking strong, like, just like, I'm like, okay, first match being him. And I beat him in the first match. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm going to win the fucking tournament. I just beat what seemed like the strongest guy that possibly can be here. So I'm filming my shit, blah, blah, blah. Artem Taranenko, Chad Silvers. I'm like, hey, I can hear it. So I came to the table. Chad's kind of on the other side. I'm like, yo. I'm looking at his arms. I'm like, yo, Joe, that's 200. That's 200 pounds class. Is this correct? That's okay. That's okay. Oh, that's okay. Okay. So and I'm there with Chad. So yeah. So that's you get that feeling with every name.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a limit. Like if I'm going to get somebody that's like 1 or 2 levels above me, like I'm going to do everything I can to win. But like if I'm going against like tournaments I've been against like Marcio, and I'm just like, if I hit, I'm going to hit a wall, and it's going to hurt really bad. So let me just not, you know what I mean? Let me just like let it go down and not try on this one.
Well, see, like it's a good strategy, but sometimes like, what if they really showed up like unprepared or injured?
But even him unprepared and injured.
Marcio Barboza unprepared is better than me on my best day ever.
Well, fuck, you don't know. What if like his pinky broke yesterday and your little top are gonna break the
He
motherfucker?
doesn't need the fifth finger to beat me. Is how
I'm also afraid if I disrespect and hit him, he'll get pissed off and hit me first.
Yeah, it's like, so you want to arm wrestle? Okay.
He's like, oh, you want to pull?
Like, there's just a level where I feel like if I don't want to hurt myself hitting into, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, use your brain.
Like I know my place, but see, I've watched too many interviews of like Zoloev to where he's like, yeah, nobody tried to pull me, and I didn't train for 3 months. They're like, what? Yeah, like literally, there's 5 guys that they just beat could have beat me, but they all lay down to me because they figure they can beat me. I'm like, fuck. I'll be like, if I was those guys, I'll be pissed because he's like, yeah, literally, this guy could fucking wax me like 2 minutes ago, but he just lay down because like he doesn't think he can beat me. And
that means he's winning the mind game.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because he's every time he comes, he just crushes people, but you can see his tournament footage and him talking. There's so many people laying down, and I don't think it happens in America too often. I feel like in America is the opposite. If you're the big name, people are gonna try to hunt you down. Like, I
tried to hit Snook as hard as I could, and we slipped, and then in the strap, I was gonna try to do it again, but before I could even start, I was on the pad. Unfortunately,
I think it's all relative, though. Like, I think it's like when we get up to like the Travises and the Marcios and all that stuff, that's when people start kind of giving up before it starts. You know what I mean? I think it's like if it's somebody in your weight class, even a high level pro, like under 200 pounds, like they're only so strong comparatively to like, a super heavyweight monster, so it's like, I don't know where that balance is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it just depends how you feel, because I have laid down some matches in my life to where like, I know I'm not winning this shit right here. So like,
yeah, just save your arm for the next match.
Yeah, but I think nowadays I'm just too cocky. Like I'll just try to pull like at the Mississippi State when my left hand got like all messed up. Like I got in a war after a war, and then like the last match in semifinal, like me and this guy that trains his team wrestling, Brendan Lanigan.
Yeah,
like,
I know him.
I knew I cannot win that match. Not in that condition. My arm is, and he looks good. I was ready to lay down too much before and to him. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna see if my arm can go. So I just set my arm wherever my arm will go, and I ended up pinging him, but it was like on the fall from him and restart, and I got my ass whooped. So
yeah.
I think I just got too cocky nowadays to where I don't really laying down. Like I don't think I will lay down to like Travis Bajan too. I'm past the point. I'm too cocky. I'm gonna try to do something and see what happens.
I just got a message from Corey Dupree from New Hampshire, and he said to tell you to message him for stock advice.
That man is the worst stock investor I've ever met in my life.
He loses so much money, it's ridiculous.
He's like, I put 30 G's in the stock, and then I waited until it was past 120.
And now it's down to $160.
And now it's worth like 30 cents.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the only thing I like about Corey is that he does have this initial 30 grand. I don't have. I just want to know like how much profit he makes in regular from all the other stuff.
Yeah. He saves up and then he blows his whole load in one shot.
I guess so. Well, see, I cannot listen from advice from him because my girlfriend's dad does stock like full time since forever. Like he's the guy. And he says, like, you never do penny stock. You never touch penny stock. And Corey Dupree is the fucking penny stock guy. And, like, I already know not to listen to them.
Maybe you should give him advice.
Yeah, no shit.
Me and Parsons tried to, because the last time he said something like, hey, bro, check this out. If it goes, it goes. And Then the next morning, I see his post, him being angry because he didn't
It
go.
didn't go. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'll stick to like, Tesla and Bitcoin, to where it's like, it's not a penny stock, but I can get a little bit of money.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, Corey's awesome. I like that he beat that guy. Who's the guy that was an Armwrestling?
John Hayanoski.
Yeah.
He beat World qualifiers. He beat Hayanoski and Palko.
He beat Palko?
Left-handed, I'm pretty. Yeah, he got first at World qualifiers. In that class.
Yeah, I mean, John, I'm not impressed with. I don't know why he not pulling number still. Fucking Palko is good. Palko doesn't have
I thought he beat Palko, and if he didn't, I'm mistaken. But he definitely got first in that left-handed class. He beat everybody.
Atlantic City, yeah.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I remember the match.
He beat Black Ice too.
Yeah, he beat Ice. Ice almost beat Palko out of the straps.
Yeah.
Palko had him like this far from the pad, and he like started reverse top roll.
It was the mullet, man. He had that mullet power.
It was the mullet.
Oh my god! First time we met Palko when he came to Florida, like round robin 160.
Yeah.
And like everybody, like me, Brandon, and GP, were like, this guy's a fucking cop. Looked like a cop.
You're sitting there smoking weed. Man,
well, yeah, probably not at that time as me, but we're like, he looks like a fucking cop. I go to his page, and there's him like in the uniform. I'm like, we were right. We were fucking right. Like some people just look like cops.
I need to excuse myself for a few minutes. If y'all are still talking when I get back, that's cool. But I gotta go take care of something real quick.
What an unprofessional little prick.
Fuck you! I picked this up for you at Target. This is for you.
Say no more, Bevel. Say no more.
See what I got to deal with here? See what I'm working with? Jeez.
See, that's why
I hold it in the whole episode.
That's why I don't have a team, and that's why my podcast is just me. I don't have to wait on somebody and fight for the proper like Wi-Fi connection.
That's what editing's for.
Yeah. How do you edit? Does Zoom save this whole thing?
Yeah. If you hit record on Zoom, when you shut the messenger, it puts it into a file right on your desktop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
and how does it look?
Cool.
Does it look just as good?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I filmed my tournament of the app, OBS. OBS, and like I don't think it looked that good. Like there was no audio, but I was filming the audio on my board. So, but it was a little complicated. So, but yeah, it's always interesting how people do this podcast and stuff. Because like you guys do it on Zoom, Uncle John does Zoom, but Ryan SP and Jeff Frank did it over the website you have to pay for. I forgot like
Skype or something.
No, it's the website you have to pay for, and it's a nice one. Something like Be Live, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a pretty nice one, like, but you probably have to pay. But once you pay, I think once you go live, I believe you go live off the website. But it goes to YouTube and Facebook. So it looks like you're live everywhere, but you're live on one thing.
Yeah.
And I believe messages go to one thing too. So that's kind of neat because I feel like when I go live on YouTube, I get people, but I feel like people on Facebook, it's so easy to tune in when you're on Facebook because you're on Facebook and you scroll anyway.
Yeah.
Right. When you're on YouTube, it's like people don't know about it really.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Zoom is free if you're only filming 2 people. Once you want to film 4 people, they only give you 40 minutes free. So I had to pay for whatever the first package is so that I could film 4 people for however long.
Oh fuck! And what's the price? What's the price there on that?
No, it's a couple bucks.
A couple bucks, yeah. That's how they fucking get you.
I know.
That's how like I want to become like I want to become someone's patron. Like I want to do like probably Uncle John because I was paying for Armbet TV for Igor's thing.
Yeah.
Like fucking $9 a month, and like there's no new content. He keeps deleting old content. Like it's just stuff is disappearing, and I'm paying the same amount of money. And there is no way to unsubscribe from motherfucker. There is not a link on the website that's click unsubscribe and stop paying. There's no way.
Send them an email.
You gotta write a letter to your bank to block them.
Yeah, I guess the way to do it is through PayPal. I went to PayPal, and the PayPal you can like do some like stop this recurrent interaction. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass.
But I'm like, I was sitting there pissed, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Artem, did you hear about all the drama happening up in our region?
Oh,
What happened? I guess no.
Yeah, Ryan, why don't you can sum it up?
Why do I got to tell him?
Because you're better summing this shit up.
Well, there's a guy up here.
News right now.
There's a guy up here who runs Team Philadelphia, and he has tournaments all the time and stuff. And it started out where, like, he charges people $5 to go to practice, because he says he has to rent the place and this and that. Well, we recently found out he's been charging us all these years, and he has the place for free. So and then he called me and he started talking trash about Jim Bryan, who just passed away. And
is that the guy somebody just? I think was it in your group? I just read about it.
Yeah.
So Jim Bryan, two-time world champion. He was my coach, for Team New Jersey.
Right.
He was like dad to me. I've known him my whole life, and freaking this guy Rosendouche goes on and starts rambled his mouth to Ryan. I mean, basically talking shit about Jim and our team. You know what I mean? So we just got his tournament blacklisted.
We just fucking blacklisted the fucker.
Well, I mean, like all the shady stuff he was doing on top of that and all the other bullshit. And this was kind of like the nail in the coffin, like talking ill of somebody who just passed.
Yeah.
It's
too soon.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's never going to be okay to say kind of words like that.
Yeah, especially like you depends what you're saying. Like, it's not a conversation.
But
so it's just like caused a big thing in our area,
Well, you were mentioning Tim Lewis. I just found out right now. It's on Facebook. Tim Lewis was supposed to do a challenge match at that tournament with Flash Surplus. And Tim publicly backed out of the challenge match, because of this. He doesn't want to support this shit.
He did?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
And Nitro publicly backed out too.
Well, I guess I just seen it because you just shared it in the group. That's why I just read it.
I did.
Because I thought you guys gonna bail on me, and I'm like, well, let me check the group. Maybe there's an announcement or something, and then I'm reading this post. I'm like, wait, what? So I just read it what you guys talked about.
Well, yeah, that post we try to make things like we didn't want anything to come back at us like lawsuit wise, so we couldn't have anything that had like defamation of character on there. You know what I mean? So we had to be real careful about the wording. We just kind of made it like Team New Jersey won't associate with this organization.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to go into detail about what this guy's been saying and been doing for years.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? We had to like draw this line, like it was a fine line between like, defamation of character and,
It's all good. He's probably like Joe Drellick's friend or some shit.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, this dude has like 30 businesses. He sucks at every one of them. He's like one of these guys that like literally like
no job,
like every business, but doesn't make any money on any of it.
His 20 different like posts a day of all his businesses, and it's all the same phone number. I'm like, how do you answer the phone? Like, fucking,
Fuck, that's weird. It's like there's a guy that I forgot his name, but he's from Florida. But he used to like scam. Oh, what did I do? He used to like scam people to like insurance money. He went to jail for that. But he like went to Worlds and did pretty good, like to where he got to like top 3. But he paid to be like to win. Like he paid somebody for the medal. It was like fake. I think that's what it was. It was fuck. I don't even know what kind of currency it was, but it wasn't real money. So he just paid him with some fucking little money he made at home, and like he paid for like some type of second place, first place medal. But somebody told me it was the thing back in this. You can pay your way to the thing, but who knows? These are rumors.
What part of Florida are you in?
Well, see, now we see like all the way up north, right? I'm kind of close to Georgia. Like I like Orlando. I did like living in Orlando because it's so central. Whenever somebody comes and they're on vacation in any part, I'm always going to be 2-3 hours away. Right now, I'm in an extreme part of like north. east, right? So it's like it's kind of challenging to go places.
Yeah.
But it's still cool. I wonder why the guy had to charge $5 though. Did he was just charging everybody?
Everybody that came to practice, he charged $5, and he said it goes towards the rent for the place. Which for that, I was like, I understand. Like, you're coming out of pocket to rent this place, and it's like, it's got bathrooms. It's like a nice place. But we just found out he's on like the board of directors there, and they don't charge him. So we were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
It's a free youth center.
Yeah,
you just have to block out the time.
So he was scamming the whole team for years.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I was, I'm not the guy that like, because there are some people that do charge for practices, like, but it's never been like phrased properly.
Right.
And I'm kind of about that if you're a brand new guy. Because I've been like, well, again, that's the problem because I don't have a practice. So if somebody comes, it has to be me and another person.
Yeah.
But in the same time, I have made so many practices for brand new guys that like maybe came and maybe pulled, but they will not come back, or they'll come second, third time, and that's it. Like there were so many that disappeared.
Yeah.
And so many guys that just want to come, it's their first time, and I'm like, I don't want to charge them, so I'm just gonna say no. I'm like, hey, where you live? Well, I live here and here. I want to practice with you. You're not gonna practice with me. Practice somebody else, then you can come to me. I don't want to. I don't want to invest my time and be like, hey, do this, do that, and then you never come back. It's kind of waste of my time because now I'm not doing anything here because I'm teaching you. And I've done so many times to where right now I kind of just want to charge. I don't want to exactly charge, but I should. But what I want to do, if there's brand new guys, because I told to somebody like that and they end up not coming too, do like deposit. You give me deposit, any amount of money, whatever it can be, 200, 100, 250, $1 million. You keep going to, to practices for a consistent amount of time, I'm going to give you the money back. That's all it is. But
or take that money and pay his entry fee with it.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
That.
Well, if he makes it to where he goes somewhere to do the thing, you know what I'm saying? Normally, I don't think they will, but it's because I could never really like do. I don't have a heart to say like, "Hey, you want to pay me?" You know what I'm saying? But that's not a bad perspective because like this guy that just came to my house from Armbad. I'm not allowing people like that, but he was saying that he arm wrestled a couple of times. He been in the table. I'm like, all right, we can do that. So, but he came, but he was like still like too new to where I could not enjoy the whole process, right? Because he was too new. I'm over there telling him so I can't bang with him because if I fucking do something, he'll break his arm, right? He's so, and I'm not trying to have this time. So like, that's why in that case, I'm okay with somebody charging for that, or at least taking a deposit. Like, hey, if you want to come.
I think a good way to do practice situation. Well, like Jim, he had people coming to his house for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a lot of $5 bills, dog.
No. Jim would never charge. We're talking about this other guy. Now, and we've had hundreds of new guys. I've seen hundreds of new guys coming in and out. You know what I mean? But like the one thing that would make life easier for everybody is if you have like the newest guy paired with someone who's relatively new but knows his shit, like the basic shit, where they can get them to that step one. You know what I mean? Like safety, basic body language. Like I don't want to spend all that time like telling you to keep your hips to the table and where your hand has to go and all that stuff. Get past that point and then we can train. So have like the guy that's like one or two steps above new, training the guy that like is brand new. You know what I mean?
Like me.
Up to speed.
That's me.
That's why no one will work with me ever.
And it's almost like it's not really a problem, right? It could not have been a problem if people will just stick to it, right? I don't mind teaching every new guy for hours if they're gonna come back, but they're not gonna. So I'm like,
you put all these hours and then they never come back. Yeah.
Well, nowadays,
I wasted so much breath on new guys.
Yeah, well, nowadays at least I can have some footage to post, so I can be like smart and make a video about it. But back in the day,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, I'm over there telling somebody how to move the elbow for 2-3 hours, and then they're not coming back. Like I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm too many. Like there are people. There's a guy that probably watches this now. He been coming to our practice, but I've made way too many practices for him that he like, hey, I want to come. Can we make a practice? I'll make a practice for you. And
Yeah.
he'll up not coming 2-3 times to where I'm like, dude, you're not serious? Don't come to my place. Like, no, hey, when are you gonna make a practice? Well, I'm gonna make a practice, but you're not gonna come. But he ended up kind of sticking to it to where now he pulls, but he knows my position about it. So I'm like, yeah, you go practice this Chen Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what we've been doing that's been pretty cool is like at night we'll post a link to this Zoom on our page, and just sometimes there's like 12 guys on here from different states just hanging out talking.
It's easy like that. Yeah. I did it to Gary Roberts, but I was way too high because he posted a link like that, and I've joined it, and there are like 15 people there. I'm like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Well,
I'm
the
like,
difference is we don't. Our after hours talk is unrecorded.
Yeah, we don't record
Thankfully.
it. Yeah.
So
No,
we're not
because
using
we
it
would
as a
definitely all go to
platform.
jail.
We would all go be in prison. Like
We would all go to jail.
We're not
Jake-
using it as a platform.
Jake Ward
That's
jumped on the
right.
other night.
Yeah.
You know Jake Ward, the Aussie arm wrestler? Yeah, he jumped
yeah.
on the other night. That was cool. And then Coach Ray tried to jump on a couple times, but he missed us because his time is different.
That's probably a good thing, to be honest with you. Coach Ray.
Coach Ray would come in here and be like, I'm out of here.
He's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Fucking, it's like
those things can be intense too. Like when I went there with Gary, and he like asked me he asked me some good question, like, so what would tell me like what kind of like arm wrestler or what do you are as an arm wrestler? And I'm high as a motherfucker. I'm like, I like chocolate milk.
Yeah.
I need to pretend my phone is like doesn't have a service. Out.
Danielle Llewellyn asked if you did your deadlifts today.
Yeah, that was so funny. She said she was getting divorced because she's now stronger than her husband.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, I'm leaving my husband because I have surpassed him in deadlifts. I'm like, wow. She said she warned him that if she ever got stronger than him, she's leaving him.
Oh, that's it.
And she's a little person.
She said to ask you if you did your deadlifts today.
Today was a bench press day. The deadlifts are supposed to be yesterday, but I need to check. I don't think I did some deadlifts this week, but I'm soft on deadlifts.
So you've been skipping them.
Yeah, I try to skip a deadlift, because my problem, I have a little problem there because I go to work and I sometimes, we work by ourselves, so I have to do some upstairs shit all the time, like doing like heavy washers or like fucking fridges. So I can't really go heavy on a deadlift or squat because I'm not that conditioned. So by the time I go to work, I'm over there pumped. I'm like, nah, I better skip something. So I'm being really soft on my deadlift and my squats. So like, I can probably deadlift, I don't know, 225, right? Confidently, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna knock me out for a second. So I'm trying to skip it. So let's see. Yesterday I was supposed to do a deadlift and something, and right? I was supposed to do it yesterday. I don't think I don't know. I probably did it. Probably not. Most likely not. Because you know what? Fuck a deadlift. You know what? I just replaced it. I only start there in my program because I'm like modifying. It's not my program, but I'm modifying it for my own little purpose. I just do like not squat, rock pulls because my whole point of deadlift is for me to work on my hand.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I don't see like deadlifts is too complex of exercise. Like you can have so many problems with your back, with your knees and shit. So unless you're into that, there's no reason to really do that, I think. But it's a good power builder, right? So I'll try to do it. But I just like my hand is my like weak part, I think, because I would like to contain people on the top roll, but I can't. So that's why I like those rock pulls because they like just attack my hand. But if I was strong enough, like then I'll do the whole deadlift. But I'm not. I can squat Oh no, not squat. I mean, I could probably rock pull.
What?
Not squat. I can rock pull what she can deadlift probably, and that's terrible.
Right.
I can only rack pull like 485 on a good day. That was the last time I maxed out a rack pull. That's because I'm too much of a wuss to like do anymore.
I would never rack pull a day in my life.
Well, that's because you're soft, Josh.
I just mastered it.
I did.
Look at arm wrestling, so that's all that matters.
I did eagle loops before, like this heavy that I can go like above like 600 on the eagle loops thing, the one that go to your fingers and like doing funny. On the actual rock pool, I can only probably put 4 plates. I don't think I would try to do 5 plates. And 4 plates was like I'm lifting them and it immediately goes down. I can hold 3 plates, like 315. I can hold it for a good 20, 30 seconds, but that's it. Once I put the 4 plates on each side, I can lift it. That's about it. It goes down right away.
Boom, bam. It's like straight down.
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna not holding it. But that's a good one because like you can progress in it, right? You can progress by adding time. You can try to hold it for longer, or you can try to lift a little bit more.
Yeah. I've been trying to do a one-armed hangs here lately. I recently got to the point where I could do them for a few seconds and hold it, like one-arm 90-degree hangs, like on the pull-up bar. That's what I've been trying to do.
Well, that one is easy though, because all you have to do is to raise your legs at first, and then you go from there, right? As long as you jump on there first, and then your legs are higher than your body, then it's super easy. Like
I keep my knees like below my hips.
Oh yeah, well that's when you get to like the harder point, and where you can be straight and you can release yourself, then you're okay. Because it's all about technique. Like right now, if I jump on the pull-up bar, I can hold myself, but I can't do pull-up. But once I jump there to the
you can't do a pull-up?
I can do one-arm pull-up all day long as long as it's my second workout. I can do a hold right now. I'm not going to be able to do a pull-up. But you give me another try 2 days later, I'll do pull-up at 200 pounds.
I can't do a pull-up with both hands.
Well, fuck, that happens. I started doing the pull-ups yesterday. I was like, oh fuck, those 2 arms shit feels heavy. Because pull-ups is a good one to like do every time too. Like I used to do them as my warm-up. So every day I'm in the gym, I'll do like 2-3 sets, 10 reps. It's heavy at first, but eventually like, oh, okay, that's I can breathe.
Yeah. Well, dude, we appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Dude, it was nice meeting you. I don't think we ever met in person.
Man. I really appreciate you coming on. Really.
Yeah, Josh, I don't think we met. Probably not. But I don't know. I've been to like those big WL tournaments to where like everybody being. Yeah, I was there. I'm like, really? Like.
I really wasn't competing much in the last few years. So, wasn't I don't think I've competed at the WL tournaments. Like the ones in like North Jersey, I think I was at, but
yeah. So good,
well, I'm sure we'll run into you one of these days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll
take
some pictures. Also, we'll take some pictures. Oh, you can run into me as long as you're my Patreon. That's all it is.
I'll do it tonight. I promise.
Subscribe.
Hey, you know what's funny?
On YouTube.
I wanted to ask you. You know that little clip you put at the end of Devin eating cereal?
Burger.
Yeah. Did you do that just to fuck with him?
No, I have I'll send. Oh, see, that's disappointing. That's why I know you don't watch my videos, because I had a video explaining my outro. But it's okay. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, send it to me.
The whole point was, it was one other thing. Like, Devin came here to do some shit. Judy was there, and I was like, fuck. All right, let me take some time off from work. So I kind of left early from work, drove all the way there. We practice, blah, blah, blah. By the end, they get some videos, predictions. It was like, I don't know, it was like 12 o'clock at night, like midnight, 1 o'clock. He's eating that burger, and Judy goes like, you just keep filming him. I'm like, all right, just use it for whatever.
Oh, I did see that video. I did see that.
Yeah. Like maybe your outro or whatever. I'm like, all right, so I'm filming him for like a whole minute.
Why are you going to bed?
Yeah, I'm filming it for a minute. It's a good minute video of him chewing, and then he thinks about like how to stop me filming him, how to stop the process. He's like, hey Milo, you going to bed? And which Milo was there, but Milo was in bed like for hours by now. But he has created this thing like, oh, okay, cool. Then I don't know what it was. I think I posted it as the outro one time.
Yeah.
And people loved it. They want t-shirts. I made t-shirts. WL called me like the next day. Yo, my man, those t-shirts have to go. You can't post it. Devon doesn't have rights for his own image. WL owns everything. So unless you want to get sued,
What?
they have to go. Yeah, so but I sold like good probably 10
That's
cents of
fucked
them.
up.
Yeah, I sold a good 10 of them probably in the first day, and that's it. Like it's
Now, could you write just the phrase without his image? You know what I mean?
Who knows? I can't probably, but probably if they were do some type of lawsuit, probably not. But probably yeah. But he told me last time I met him, he's like, "Yo, where's my shirt, bro?" I'm like, "Oh well, fuck. Your people told me I can't do them. I can send you one privately." He's like,
Yeah.
"It's all good. My contract almost runs out." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So all the WL guys slowly getting out of the contract. So I guess he's gonna get his image back. If you notice his website too, his website is really like the way off limit shirts on the limit shirt, my bad. A lot of them like they go around stuff. Like that's why I think they wanted to do more of Devon, but they can't. Like I've talked to them, like they have the same problems as I have. Like he get like Devon, like I guess the contract is so rigid to where he just doesn't have rights for his image anymore.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's the scary part.
That's weird.
That's what I've been telling people. Like people like, when are going to be WL? I'm like, when they're going to call me, then I'm going to be there. I can just be there because I have no credibility to be WL. But if they call me, I'll be there. But now that I'm thinking, even if I'm going to be good enough to be there or interesting enough to have a matchup against somebody, I don't think I want to do that because like. I like my freedom. Like I don't want to lose. Like I don't want to be like constricted with some fucking shit.
Right.
Yeah, like that's what Mazurenko does to everybody. Like when Devon and Pushkar came to Tampa, Pushkar had a fucking clear instruction, like on what to do, what not to do. So when he asked Devon, like, "Hey, who's gonna be this practice?" and he's like, "Well, Max, maybe Andre, Artem," and like. And Pushkar goes, "Oh, Artem who? Oh, this guy. Oh, no, I cannot be here. I was told like." So
what?
As I walked into fucking that Airbnb, Devon gives a speech. There's like 20 veterans there. They're shooting commercial. They're like, "Yeah, and here's the forbidden man that the only one person is not allowed to be here." And I'm like, fuck. So
that's hilarious.
I was able to like sneak in some pictures, but no videos.
So WAL soon they'll be like, you can't masturbate with that hand.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so that's why I think like the freedom is the way to go. That's why I promote my Patreon, right? That's why I promote my Patreon to where I feel like, I wanted to make a video, but when I have more room, like I have like I want to have a nice Patreon video to where, why am I doing this, right? Not like, I don't want to explain what you're going to get, because if you're trying to get something out of being a patron, I don't want you to be on a patron, right? Like I'm trying to give away stuff, right? Like I've said a bunch of stuff to everybody to my patron. I'm trying to come out. It's like my patron is like Amazon Prime. As long as you're part of it, I'm gonna try to create with more stuff. You're gonna have some like Prime videos, Prime that, so I'm gonna try to create more stuff as much as I have it, right? If somebody sends me a handle, I don't need the fucking handle. Any of my patrons can have a handle or whatever the case can be.
Yeah.
But my point of collecting all the money is to make sure at some point I will have enough of it to where I can make my own shit like WL and PL with no contracts. If somebody wants to have a match and they need like $5,000 for the winner, here's $5,000. Like, yeah, I can make the match happen. Like, I'm gonna have the money.
So community organized challenge matches.
Yeah, like if without having anybody in contract, because I can, it's self-funded, The reason I like my Patreon, the Uncle John motivated me because Uncle John's system is good. I like what he does because I had my Patreon for years and I only had one Patreon. But because I can't really offer much. Uncle John can point me that I can like offer feedback. I can offer certain things, blah, blah, blah. There's the guy named James Hoffman. He's a coffee guy on YouTube. He has like 600,000-700,000 subscribers and it's an awesome coffee videos. So, and I'm like, God, like I'm not even into coffee, but he made me to become semi-coffee guy.
Yeah.
But he has a Patreon too. I don't even think his channel monetized. It could be. It's got to be. But his Patreon is like he has 4,980 something patrons
Wow.
at $15,000 a month.
Wow.
And his Patreon is really cheap. It goes 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? If the guy like him that does high quality stuff and does it really well, only asking 2, 4, and 6, and he made it like that's all I need. Like, why am I asking motherfuckers $25? Who I think I am? So I'm about to remove all my super expensive one and keep those $2, 5 and 10. People seems to like the $5 one, but I'm only asking for 2.
Yeah.
I need 1,000 people at 2, and that's it. I'll be doing fucking videos every day.
Yeah. Right.
But people seem to be too generous, so which is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, by the end of the night, I will be.
My man.
No.
So if I don't wake up to the email because I get an email, you got a new patron, little nice emoji and stuff. I'll be taking you a message.
Just send me a message and be like, "You don't have the rights to my image."
Do not post the podcast without my link first.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, thanks, man. You're one of the only people that when I troll a little bit, you're always like, it's funny. Most people take it too serious. Like my rubber band videos and shit.
That shit is so funny. All the bands, like the one in your mouth is what got me, where you held the band in your mouth, like.
Yeah, and I have Russian dudes posting it like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, and I'm replying. They're not asking me.
He's the worst arm wrestler in the world.
Yeah, they're posting their stories like, yo, look at this guy. And I'm replying to them like, yo, this motherfucker's cool. Like, oh,
I'm doing your Patreon right now so that I don't.
My man.
Yo, put in a couple bucks for me too.
Shit. Do it yourself.
Yeah, me too. Donate on behalf of the 98%, Ryan. Do it for the boys.
Yeah, you do the $10 fund. You just make sure to collect from them like every month.
Yeah.
I'll get everybody I'll do Patreon for everyone, and then they got to Patreon half of it to me.
Exactly.
That's
funny. See, I'm waiting Uncle John so I can pay him back.
Yeah. There we go. All right, I'm shutting the record off. We shouldn't have we shouldn't have even recorded half that shit. 98%.